Hi guys, great to see you again.
Hey,
I always
Amanda.
love coming back to Team One. Your new offices are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So good to see you guys. And today we're going to focus on PlayStation, which you guys have dabbled in a little bit. We've run some of the ad units, and I know you're looking to do more this year. So this is perfect timing for me to come and give you the update. And I'm curious, are any of you guys gamers currently?
Yes.
PlayStation, Xbox, what's your
I have
team?
both, actually. Just like to kind of be familiar because we're playing with the platforms, obviously, just to
Yeah.
know what's from an advertiser perspective. But I love what PlayStation's doing with some of the games and exclusives coming out this year. So I have to
Awesome.
say, hands down, I think you guys took it at E3.
Yeah, I was just going to say you must have watched our E3 press
Yeah.
conference. I know you couldn't make it in person, but
I watched it online. It was great.
okay, good. And we got to check out some of those when you were walking around the booth, so
Very good.
it's great to see that. Cool. So let's dive in.
Good morning. My name is Christina Koziel, and I'm really excited to be here today. I hope to put together a presentation today that gets you excited about the PlayStation platform and the opportunities available for us in advertising this year. From its humble beginnings in college campuses and dingy dark basements, the PlayStation platform has started to make its way through the household and is now part of the living room. What I'd like to do today is walk through a little bit about the video game industry, tell you a little bit about who our audience is on PlayStation, hopefully overcome some of those questions that we all think that, I think the audience is a teenage boy eating Cheetos and drinking Mountain Dew in a basement, and convince you that there are advertising opportunities available for your clients here today to reach an untapped audience who's clamoring for content and entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me here today. My name is Jared Hauser. I am the North American Account Executive for PlayStation and Crackle. I am very excited to be talking about a platform that I am both avidly a fan of and also a hardcore advocate for, and that is the gaming ecosystem and specifically the PlayStation Network platform. As we go into it, I wanted to give you
multi-billion-dollar industry. But outside of just gaming, people are using their consoles as a general entertainment hub to watch movies, stream TV shows, listen to music, watch live events, and a lot more. I know myself, I'm not a gamer, but I have a PlayStation and I'm on my console. I'm watching Crackle and Netflix, and my husband's gaming and also watching Crackle and Netflix. So even in my own home, we're using that PlayStation in multiple ways. So the key takeaway here is that gaming is no longer a niche audience for a select group of advertisers. If you want to reach the people 18 to 34 demographic, you need to advertise on gaming consoles, and PlayStation is the market leader.
Question? Great question. I'll get into the PlayStation ad served. Right now, there's only one unit that's ad served, but I'll talk about that in a second. So hold that thought. So let's talk about.
So the best way to kind of understand why it's worth advertising on PlayStation, why we're here talking, is to really think about the gaming universe in general. It is massive. It is huge. It is at scale. It's very unique. Looking at the entire amount of people, in the U.S. playing games, it's about 155 million. We're in over 50% of U.S. households, meaning that over 50% of U.S. households have either an Xbox One or a PlayStation or a Wii. Some have both, and we'll get into those kind of numbers and how they overlap a little bit later. The really important thing for PlayStation is that we are the #1 console right now in the entire world. We have about 22 million PS4s sold. We have over 35 million PS3 sold. And the PS2 is still the #1 selling game console in the world with over 150 million sold at this point. So very important to know. Also, which is interesting, is that the gamers themselves are spending a ton of time playing not just games, but also watching movies, streaming music, live events. And all this is done through the PlayStation or the Xbox. So gaming consoles are amazing in the sense that they're not only great for games, but because of the connectivity, you have this access to connected television and streaming television, through the majority of U.S. households at this point.
Real quick question. And I think one thing that I take away from it so much is that how seamless everything is, right? I'm going into things like advertising, getting messages from my friends, jumping into a game experience, jumping back to the store to purchase a film or piece of content, or engage in a branded video, and all that's a very seamless experience now in this current generation. One of the great things that we highlight in that video is just what our advertising solutions look like. Again, large, impactful experiences. We focus on big things that are designed for a 42-plus inch screen. That's what we really focus on. As you can see from those ad units, 520 by 790 is one of our smallest units, going all the way up to 1920 by 1080. Full impactful screens, again, made for the size of this screen, and all completely native. Right, they're built for that larger screen. But we did a quick study, just talk about the slide for a second, and found that our native ads, the ones that are built for the TV screen, are just more receptive, right? People pay more attention to them. They're built for that screen. So as you saw in that video caption, we walked through things like Nike Air Jordan and some even our entertainment partners. Why they work with us is just because of the impact of what that impression really does on our PlayStation user. As you can see, they really pay attention to it, and they like engaging with their ads. I'm going to go into some of the solutions we have available. There's a few different ways to partner with us. Again, we're the #1 gaming platform in the world. Our solutions go from video advertising integration directly into things like our store. You saw the example in that video of Nike Air Jordan. They actually had we provided them with a listing right on the navigation arc of our store. People are looking for videos, movies, TV shows. Oh, I'm actually encountering some brand entertainment content from Air Jordan. Again, a great way to generate millions of views integrated directly into our content. We also are producing original content. This year, we actually launched 2 original shows. The first being Powers. Our first script.
U.S. Right guard, you want to advertise with PlayStation. You are reaching 65 million uniques in the U.S., 80% of those being the coveted millennial audience. Digging a bit deeper into a question.
No, you go ahead.
Or are you just stretching your back?
Sorry, it's just a busy slide.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah,
focus.
it's hard to focus on the slide. Well, let me walk you through it as your tour.
A lot on there.
It's a lot on there.
There is a lot on here. I guess the real takeaway here is to think about this is a millennial audience. It is 70-80% 18 to 34.
Millennials are 18 to 35, right?
I believe they're 18 to 34, but then I haven't been in that age group for a while, so it's not that important to me. 18 to 34, I think, is the generally accepted age bracket for the millennial segment. Anybody
80s.
disagree?
Early 80s would be 35.
I think we digress. What's really important to think about is not just the age bracket, but how much time people are spending playing video games. So we're looking at an average
experiences, and now we're actually the #2 purchase place for PlayStation games, right just behind GameStop. People are now, because of the internet speeds and connectivity and Wi-Fi enabled devices, if you want to play a game, you don't have to go out to GameStop at 9 o'clock at night to engage with it. You can get it right there through the PlayStation Store. PlayStation Vue is the platform we actually just launched a few months ago. We're right now available in 5 markets. A completely live streaming TV service we'll dive into a little bit later. Amazing content, amazing experience for our users. As you can see, PlayStation Music, PlayStation Plus, and PlayStation Now, all services available exclusively through the PlayStation console. I want to talk really quickly about the experiences on PlayStation as well as the behaviors in our users and what our true reach is. We have about 60 million active PlayStation Network accounts. That means someone who's taken home a PlayStation device and actually logged in with that device. They've given us their age, their gender, as well as their email address to be able to connect to the internet service through their console. Why they're doing that?
Really passionate, loyal fan base that really loves PlayStation specifically. PlayStation's been around for about 20 years now. I remember back in 1995, the PlayStation console was the first gaming console that I got. And it was revolutionary. I remember using Nintendos in the past and having to blow through the cartridges to make the game work. Well, PlayStation changed all that. They introduced CDs, and that was like the coolest thing to me. Seeing a CD as a game, it was great. And it was great from a graphics perspective, which every console that was coming out was like, which one has the better graphics? PlayStation was blowing everybody out of the water with the CDs, with having CDs as their games. There's better audio and better gaming graphics. PlayStation 2 launched 5 years later, in October of 2000, and quickly became the fastest selling console in U.S. history with over 50 million consoles sold. But another first, PlayStation 2 introduced DVDs, where now users can actually buy DVDs, have a PlayStation console, and it's an entertainment device. So you no longer needed to have a PlayStation and a DVD player, as it was all in one. And then the PlayStation 3 launched in November of 2006, so 6 years later, the PlayStation 3 was introduced, and that became quickly the biggest selling console in PlayStation history, with over 80 million consoles sold globally. But what was great about the PlayStation 3 was it introduced the PlayStation Network. So it was the first one to be a connected device that connected consumers to the internet. So you can now play games with your friends on the internet without ever having to leave your house. So it was also the first console to introduce Blu-ray. So there was that debate between DVD and Blu-ray, who was going to win out. Well, I think we know today that Blu-ray definitely beat out DVD, and PlayStation was the first console to ever introduce that. And then again.
Okay, so diving in a little bit just on the past, and this is funny for me because when I first started working in the industry, I worked on the agency side, and I started at McCann working on Sony Pictures, and then I moved to OMD working on Sony PlayStation. So it's really funny that now I've come full circle, and I'm actually at Sony working on PlayStation. So I remember all of this. I remember launching the PlayStation 2 and working on all the titles. So it's fun for me to walk back through this. So back in 1995 is when PlayStation originally launched, and as I'm sure you can remember, Sega and Nintendo were the big things back then. So they were, taking their knowledge as an electronics company and really putting that out there and making a name as a gaming company. And what they did was they actually released games on CDs as opposed to cartridges. So that was a big shift and allowed for better quality with the gaming. So fast forward to the year 2000 when we launched the PlayStation 2, which, fun fact, that is actually the #1 selling console still to date. So it did insanely well. And I think part of that was because this was the first console where you could actually also play movies on the DVD. So it was multi-purpose. And then, fast forward to 2006 when we launched the PlayStation 3. And the big focus there was that we were the first console to use Blu-ray for games and HD movies. And that's also when we launched and introduced the PlayStation Store, which meant that you didn't necessarily have to go to a physical store to buy a game. You could actually download it on the same day. So that was huge, and that's where we saw the growth of the PlayStation Store, which has now turned into a billion-dollar business each year in terms of game sales. And then fast forward
Sega
to
and Nintendo. It really legitimized video gaming. In 2000, we released PlayStation 2, which brought DVD and CD audio capabilities to the PlayStation. It was the first console to reach 150 million in sales. 150 million in sales. In 2006, we released PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 3 really changed the face of gaming. It allowed users to download games when they were released, and it was the first player launched with Blu-ray. We hit 80 million in global sales, and we were really excited about the first time that you could download movies directly from the console. It was huge, like I said, revolutionary. But we didn't stop
68
there.
million active accounts. And when we look at the audience, it is male skewed, but it's not all male. It's young, but it's not too young, so it's not all teenagers living at home with their parents. Increasingly, people are taking the PlayStations out of the kids' room, moving them into the living room, and again, making it more of an entertainment device. So it's young adults. 71% of the audience is people 18 to 34, so it's those hard-to-reach millennials. They're spending about 18 hours per week on their consoles. And again, that's not just on gaming. They're watching movies and streaming TV shows and listening to music, etc. And they're also spending a lot of money while they're on their consoles. So this is really key for brands. You have consumers that are in the purchasing mindset, so it's the perfect time to hit them up with brand messaging. And to that point, you should really think of PlayStation as a retailer. So again, if we want to kind of go down the list so far, we talk about PlayStation obviously as a gaming device. I also talk about it being an entertainment hub. It's also a social vehicle, and now we can add to that list, it's a retailer. So it's essentially excitement of PlayStation amongst its fans and how PlayStation has really been breaking ground, not just in the gaming industry, but in technology over the past 30 years. So take a look. So as you can see, there's a recurring theme here that PlayStation has historically been a technology leader with a lot of firsts to be proud of. Going back to the original PlayStation, we were the first to release games on CDs versus cartridges for higher quality graphics and audio. Then the PS2 was the first that allowed you to play movies on DVDs, and then the PlayStation 3 was the first that used Blu-ray technology for games and movies. So all of these kind of first markets that PlayStation has really brought consumers over the years, not to mention the record-breaking sales figures that PlayStation 2, 3, and now 4 have experienced as a result. So again, cutting to today.
I'm going to show you our latest PlayStation 4 sizzle. This gives you an idea of the user interface from the moment you enter your PlayStation, to how you can navigate through the PlayStation ecosystem, and then some of the gameplay where you can see from some of the earlier generations of PlayStation the evolution of the graphics where it actually looks real. So I just want to send that away to the video, and we'll show you that now. All right, great video. As you can see, a great console with great graphics. What I want to point out here is research. So yes, a little bit of research before we get into the good stuff. We did a study with Frank Magid and Associates to kind of get a look at the effectiveness of PlayStation advertising. We want to make sure that your brands are on a platform and in a situation for success. So we did a study with Frank Magid and Associates, and what we pulled away from the study was that around 60% of PlayStation users are interacting, paying attention to your ads. That's a huge number. That's over half of our audience is interacting with your advertising. When looking at it in comparison to video advertising, we're blowing them out of the water, 60 to 20. Video advertising is highly considered the most effective and best way to reach advertisers from a digital perspective, and I agree, it is definitely a great way. But the fact that you can reach users on PlayStation and get a 60% pay attention or interaction rate is unbelievable, and that just speaks to the high quality.
Once you enter the store, I want to point out one quick thing. You can see in the navigation bar here that the word Spotlight is highlighted. This Spotlight unit is the first thing that users see when they enter into the store. However, if the Welcome Roadblock had been sponsored, the word Welcome Roadblock would be up above Spotlight. We do this on purpose. We want to make sure our users can get back to the experience that they saw. Perhaps they want to go back and share it with a friend. We want to make navigation really easy. There's no hunting and pecking trying to find a co-branded ad unit to drive you back to that Welcome Roadblock. It's always in the nav bar. As is the Spotlight. You can see that you can stream video for a hover over opportunity. Another big full screen ad unit. You have to come to this page and scroll through. Your eyeballs are going to see this ad. Again, the PlayStation Store team will help with all creative opportunities. We want to take off as much of the work as we can. This is my personal favorite. It's the branded storyline. This is the unit, if you have a story to tell, this is how you're going to accomplish your messaging. It lives in the navigation bar that I pointed out earlier and really allows users to spend as much time with your information, your content, your videos, your photo galleries as possible. I love this unit for a number of reasons, but particularly because of the engagement that users show. It has up to 3 screens, and you can have as much, 3 to 5 screens, and you can have as much video content in each box as long as it's under a maximum megabyte level. This is perfect for longer form content that you're looking for a distribution partner. It's perfect for storytelling. It's perfect for those advertisers who have a more detailed or nuanced message that they're trying to get across to their customers. It's also full of endless possibilities. Being able to share this out with your friends, watch the videos again.
I'm going to start out just talking about the video game industry as a whole. I'm sure many of you can remember, 10 years ago when gaming was just a fad and everyone thought it was the 13-year-old boys down in the basement, loners playing by themselves. I am here to let you know it is definitely not a fad. Gaming is completely mainstream. And as you can see here, 51% of all U.S. households own a dedicated gaming console. So that's pretty insane. Last year alone, it was about a $15 billion business for software sales. So it's pretty insane how much people are spending on gaming. And it's not just gaming that they're doing with their consoles. We're also seeing them watching movies, TV shows, listening to music. I'll show you guys in a little bit. We recently launched a partnership with Spotify on PlayStation, so you can now listen to Spotify through your PlayStation. So it's really becoming, an entertainment center. But something to keep in mind specifically with PlayStation is that we've always kept the gamers as the core focus. So I know Xbox has gone a little bit more the route of being that entertainment platform. We are truly staying focused on the gamers, and you'll see that as I take you through our ad executions. They're all very native, non-intrusive to the gamers. And yeah, that's why PS4 currently is the #1 console out there in terms of sales.
Hey everyone, so great to see so many familiar faces. For those that don't know me, my name is Benji Streeter. I handle PlayStation advertising sales in addition to Crackle, but for the purpose of today, I'm really going to focus on PlayStation, talk about the video game industry as a whole, where the PlayStation 4 console is at from a sales standpoint, capabilities, and also talk about what we're really interested in here today is advertising opportunity, both native advertising on the PS4 and talk a little bit about PlayStation Vue, Sony's first ever cloud-based live TV streaming service exclusively on the PS4 console. So before I get in, I know a lot of you from working together for many years, but by a raise of hands here, how many own a video game console at home? Great. What do you play? Awesome. I'm a big FIFA fan myself, so we'll have to connect on the network and definitely have a couple battles here and there, but especially around key AAA game releases and aligning with those dates. My personal favorite unit is the branded content storyline, which essentially is what it states. It's a story. Here, if you have sequential creative that you want to showcase on a monthly basis, we'll actually hard code you to the nav, and you'll actually be able to state, Old Spice or Nike directly onto the nav of the PlayStation Store environment and give you up to a 5-page deep experience. So as you see here, the first screen you see is Russell Westbrook's example for Air Jordan, and we can actually go this was only 3 screens deep, but it actually go 5. But it's a fantastic way to showcase a sequential creative message, or if you have a lot of creative assets that you want to showcase, this is the unit for you. So the Jordan example, it's not this one specifically, but we did another Air Jordan campaign, which drove over 33 million video starts. So tremendous amount of engagement and interactivity, and that really goes back to that slide earlier on that talks about how PlayStation ads outperform and are the best performing ads compared to video and every other online advertising video options that are available in the marketplace today. So
I hope you enjoyed that video. We did a study last year for both Crackle and PlayStation with Magid and Associates. We called it the Connected Living Room. And basically it was a study of the who, what, when, where, and why, of how people consume and watch streaming television. A lot of the study was for Crackle, a lot of the questions were about PlayStation. And one of the big takeaways we found, it was actually a big surprise and a welcome surprise, was that, and this is a self-selected response, is people said, what do you think about PlayStation native ads? Do you pay attention to them? Do you like them? Do you find them annoying? And when compared to all the other types of interactive advertising, even video commercials, which we love at Crackle, PlayStation native ads scored way higher in terms of people paying attention to and interacting with the ads than any other placement you can buy online, which I think speaks volumes to the value of the proposition. So let's dig a little bit into the actual. And I'll go ahead and start it now and let me know what you think. Begin video and video.
Wow, that was cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right? So again, we covered this a little bit, but looking at kind of environment or the user experience, user UI, you're greeted with something called the What's New placement. So on PlayStation 4, the What's New placement, this is your kind of social headquarters. This is where you turn it on and immediately you see what you've been doing, what games you've been playing, what games your friends have been playing, what shows on Netflix they've been watching. It gives you you can catch up with what everybody's doing in that PlayStation network.
So Trevor, do I have to be connected to my friends to see that activity, or is that just through logging in?
If you are logged in, which you probably are automatically, when you turn your PlayStation on, and you have friends,
Right.
assuming you have friends in the PlayStation network, assuming you're popular. Yeah, immediately you'll see this feed start going. If for some reason you're not connected to the internet, then you wouldn't see that feed until you are. But most people automatically connect once they've set it up in their system. So this is kind of an ever-changing product page.
So we wouldn't be able to have a right guard product page, right?
No, PlayStation hasn't really branched out selling CPG within the PlayStation Store quite yet. There are times when non-endemic companies do build out a product page, and that would be, for instance, if you had. So we did something huge with Nike. Air Jordan did a very cool short-form video series with Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, and it was basically a series of 3 to 5 minute videos.
PlayStation also records up to 15 minutes of your gameplay, so then you can go back and share that out to your friends. So it's just a really great way to kind of show off and share what you love on your PlayStation. And I mentioned the Spotify as well that just launched on PlayStation Music.
Great.
And what's cool too with PS4 is, so Spotify is available on PS3 and PS4, but on PS4 is you can actually use your music as the background to your games. So that's a really cool feature.
Does every game have that feature, or just games with music? I guess probably, right?
Yeah, that's a great question that I'm gonna have to ask. It would make
Okay.
sense that it's the games with music
Right.
that you can kind of swap it in.
Yeah.
But it's such a new feature. Let me get some clarity on
And then we
that.
saw Morpheus at E3.
You guys tried it. Didn't
Yeah.
you love it?
Great. So
I
that's
forget which
that's
games
only
you
on
played.
PS4, I think, right? Yeah.
That's currently
next
yeah,
generation,
that's gonna be plugged into the PS4, and I know you guys have a big partnership already with oh my gosh, not Morpheus, or
Oh, Google Oculus Rift.
Oculus. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have that with Oculus, but just keep in mind that the cool thing with Morpheus is they're not like updates. You don't have to